I hate touchpads. Give me a mouse any day.
Me too.
Hey, sir, how are you? Good to see you.
Nice to see you, sir.
Yeah. We have more people on TV than we do right here.
Oh, okay.
Not surprising, it does happen.
That's just where we're at.
Yeah, yeah. You can grab a seat anywhere.
Newtown Business Alliance. Right.
Yeah, like just something.
Yeah, Newtown, excuse me. Businesses on the corridor, you know, taking responsibility basically for cleaning up their areas, making them more inviting area for people other than for people that don't live there. Some people might want to come spend money if they look at it. I'm gonna start right there.
Well, gentlemen, if we could gather ourselves together for a minute, even though we're not physically right in the same place, we're all over the place. I want to welcome Carlos Yancey from Bay First in Newtown, the bank that's
That's what I could do.
and thankfully Dr. Tracy Gapin has just joined us. We really want to welcome him with open arms. He's done a fantastic job over the years as a urologist in Sarasota. For many, many years, he's recently made a significant practice to doing more with men's health in general. And I think that's going to be to all of our benefits, actually. Because so much of what we go through with prostate cancer or any of the other cancers has to do with how we take care of ourselves in a very general sense. So Dr. Gapin has opened up the Gapin Institute, and I've got plenty of information I'll send you about it. I think you ought to take a look at it as a possible resource for yourself. And also, he's got a great book out. I'm going to mute you all if you don't mind, because if there's people talking in the background, then it makes it hard. So bear with me a second. I'm just going to see if I can figure out how to mute everybody. And then we'll make sure you're unmuted for any questions and so on. Mute all. Okay, I'm muting all, but I don't want to. I certainly don't want to mute Dr. Gapin, so I'm going to unmute him. And I'm going to unmute myself. Okay, so now it's a lot quieter, actually, believe it or not. It's amazing how little noises of all kinds can get transmitted over these microphones that are very, very sensitive. But without further ado, Dr. Gapin is certainly helped me through my prostate journey and was a tremendous help and a tremendous support all the way through. So I welcome him, and thank you, Dr. Gapin, for joining us.
Oh, you bet, David. Thanks so much, and welcome everybody. First of all, Dave, thanks for the opportunity to be here with you today. I'm always happy to support the Men to Men group and help provide guidance, knowledge, support, answer questions, and really just be part of the community. So again, I want to thank you for letting me be here with you today, David. And so I'm going to tell a little bit about me in just a moment, but I have really transformed my health, my life, my career from the many years I spent in urology. So a little bit of background today is going to be something very different, something that you guys probably are not even expecting, because I'm here to talk to you about a lot more than just urology and a lot more than just prostate cancer. And this is really what's become a passion of mine. So now, am I able to, David, share my screen?
Yes, let me do one thing.
I have a few slides I could show. I don't have to. If I can't, not a big deal.
No, let me do a share screen if I can figure it out. Oh, shoot. Bear with me just a second. I my technical expertise is being exposed. Let me see. Share screen.
Doc, you have the share screen green button at the bottom of your screen?
Oh yeah, I don't have permissions, Andy.
Oh, okay, he's doing that. Got it.
Well, I clicked that I was sharing a screen, but I don't know if that's,
No, it's a permissions for the for participants to share screen. But it's okay. I'll do without imagery. That's really okay.
okay.
Yeah, that's okay. I was going to show a few slides, but they're more for.
Dr. Gapin, I have it. I'm going to make you the co-host.
Yeah,
Okay,
that'll work.
that'd be great. If you do that, that'll give me those permissions.
Okay, I think I've done it correctly.
Perfect. All right, there we go. All right, now can everybody see my screen okay?
Yes, very clear.
Perfect. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so how many of you ladies and gentlemen here with us today would love to have even more energy so you can feel alive and energized any time of day? Show of hands, anyone. We all would. If you don't raise your hand, you're lying. How about a laser focused mind with crystal clear clarity so you can make smarter, faster decisions? Yeah, all of us, right? How about who just wants better sex? Right? Hell yeah. I got your attention with that one, didn't I? All right. Today, I want to share with you the 3 critical drivers for success, the 3 keys that you need to optimize your body and your brain for what I call high performance in your business, in your bedroom, in every area of your life. But before I get going, I want to share just a little bit about me and how I got here with you today so you have some frame of reference and background. I spent over 20 years as a urologist here in Sarasota, operating, saving lives every day while neglecting my own health until it finally caught up with me. I woke up one day and found that I was 30 pounds overweight. I had belly fat. I had brain fog. I had no energy, no focus, no drive. I couldn't sleep and I was anxious and I really didn't like who I'd become. And I had to admit that it was really all my own fault because I had been so focused on my career, taking care of patients, treating prostate cancer, that I neglected my own physical and mental health. So how many of you here can relate to that lifestyle of putting your career, your business ahead of your own health? Yes, I think we're all guilty of that to some extent. You know, we're trying to do the right thing. We're working hard, grinding it out, sacrificing ourselves for the sake of our career. But in fact, this neglect for our own health is actually causing more harm than good, and it's simply just not sustainable. And so I go to see this doctor, and I can remember vividly what a vulnerable experience it was sitting there on that exam table with nothing on but that thin little paper gown that barely covered some very important real estate, if you know what I mean. Now, the pivotal moment for me was when it became very clear that he couldn't help me. He had nothing to offer me because as unhealthy as I wasn't actually sick. I didn't have an actual diagnosis, as we call it. And our healthcare system isn't actually made for that. And that's when it finally all hit me. I realized how our body and our brain intricately depend on our health, but yet we don't have healthcare. We have disease care. We have crisis care, where we're focused on nothing more than getting you to neutral, to some crummy baseline, free of disease. We passively wait until you're actively sick before we actually finally pay attention. Prostate cancer, diabetes, heart disease, heart attack. Our entire approach to health supports neglect. So it's really no surprise that we fall victim to it. Well, guys, I knew there had to be a better way, and I was determined to get healthy myself. And so while still running my busy medical practice, I went back to school. For the last 8 years, I studied and researched and learned about the amazing advances we're seeing in the field of health optimization, genetics, human performance, and longevity. And I learned about the incredible advances in wearable technology even that are enabling us to take an entirely new approach to our health, taking it to a whole new level. And when I combined these concepts and applied this newfound knowledge on myself, I was able to transform my health to better than it had ever been. I lost a ton of weight. I regained my energy, my focus, my confidence, and I felt alive again. And I got younger too. You guys probably can't tell, but I'm actually 73 years old. Can you tell? No? So I wanted to share the same approach with my patients. And so about 5 years ago, I created the N1 Performance Health Program. I'm going to admit someone. There we go. The N1 Performance Health Program that integrated these cutting edge strategies. And guess what? My patients had the same great results. They told me how they felt younger, stronger, more alive. And that's when I knew that I had honestly found my true purpose and passion. And so I made a very bold move, and I left my lucrative urology practice here in Sarasota, Florida urology specialist, so I could have a much bigger impact. I launched the Gapin Institute for High Performance Medicine. I published 2 best-selling books, Male 2.0 and Codes of Longevity. I started speaking on stages. I've shared stages with amazing speakers so far, like Sharon Lechter, Mark Victor Hansen, and Bill Walsh. And I created the Gapin Institute for High Performance Medicine and the High Performance Health Conference, designed to help successful men and women like each of you learn how to optimize your body and brain to have exceptional energy, laser focused mind, a body to be proud of, and yes, even better sex, to really achieve high performance in your health, in your business, and in every area of your life. How many of you know something like that would sound good to you? Yes? Awesome. So I want to ask you guys a question. Why do you think most people don't achieve their biggest goals in life? You can type in the chat or speak up. Why do you think most people don't achieve their biggest goals in life?
They focus on other things.
Sure, focus on the wrong things. What else? Absolutely. Anyone else? Well, I'll tell you, after years of research, I found that it's issues with your health that are often holding you back. It may be lack of sustainable energy, brain fog, stress, excess weight. What's also interesting is, in many cases, I work with high performers who think they're doing great, but without even realizing that their bodies and brains are not actually optimized to operate at their highest level. We're all here striving for excellence, right? How do we have a bigger impact? How do we build more wealth? How do we have a bigger life? How do we live longer and stronger? How do we achieve what I call high performance? See, this is really important here. If you learn nothing else today, I believe that the success you achieve in every area of your life starts and ends with your health. And that's why I created the Gapin Institute and why I created the N1 Performance Health Program and the High Performance Health Conference, to give you the tools and guidance and strategies you need to optimize your health so you can fulfill your highest potential. So the question is, what is high performance? What does that mean? How do I define high performance? How about this? You know who this is, right? Jeff Bezos back in his early days, right? Look at him now. Whether you like him or not, that's high performance. How about this? Who's this guy? We all know him. Tom Brady, right? This was when he first came out of college. Look at him now. That's high performance. We're all successful. It's not about being successful. It's about how do you take it to the next level. High performance is not just about being stronger, faster, smarter. It's not even about being just better. It's about living in a state of excellence where you're in the top 1%, where you operate at your highest potential with crystal clear clarity and focus and unshakable confidence and unparalleled purpose and power and productivity. High performance is all about living your best life. And guys, that is my passion. That's why I'm here with you today. So let's get to the 3 critical drivers for high performance. Number 1, you got to have a growth mindset, or what I call a high performance mindset. What does this mean? It means living with intention. What is your why? What's your purpose in life? What are your long-term goals? We need to find meaning and purpose in what we do instead of always settling for immediate gratification. Our life is full of micro decisions. They put the bread on the table when you go to lunch. What are you going to do? You have that extra free time. What are you going to do? It's 10 o'clock at night. What are you going to do? This is what we talk about with living with intention. A goal without a plan is just a wish. It's all about living with intention, having the proper mindset. At the High Performance Health Conference coming up in June, we dive deep into this type of concept, this type of mindset. It's about investing in your health. Health doesn't happen. Health is created. Here's an example why this is so important. You look at guys like Paul Allen. Anyone know who Paul Allen is? Paul Allen was a co-founder of Microsoft, guys. He was worth over $30 billion at one point, and he died from health issues at the age of 65. Steve Jobs, we all know who Steve Jobs is, founder of Apple. He died from pancreatic cancer at age 56. These guys had all the money in the world, but they couldn't buy one more day. What's the point of building your business, building your wealth, if you're not well enough to actually enjoy it? You have to invest in your health, invest in yourself, so that doesn't happen to you. In the words of a great master, a mentor of mine, if you don't schedule your success, you've already planned your failure. Think of it this way. How much do you spend on vacations? Nice restaurants, your car, business meetings. Why would you not invest even more than that in your health, on your body and your brain? We're not just talking about health insurance here for disease, for crisis situations. We're talking about optimization, how to make your body and brain work at its full potential. What's more important? In fact, what's the cost of not making your health your top priority, guys? So the question is, when's a good time to invest in yourself? The answer is right now. And remember, the day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit. You have to invest in yourself. And the High Performance Health Conference that I created helps you learn the tools and strategies to have the right mindset so you can do that. It's about overcoming the limiting beliefs that are holding you back. I'm not good enough. I'm too old. I can't change. My genetics say this or that. Imposter syndrome, that you're not good enough. You're not worth it. That you're equating self-worth somehow with your success. You got to believe in yourself and that you have the power to live your best life. Overcoming limiting beliefs is part of having a high performance mindset. Next, we need to take an individualized approach to health. We have to think differently and recognize that there's no one size fits all answer for your health. There's this belief that all you got to do is exercise more and eat vegetables. When I went to that doctor, the rest of that story was, his answer for me was, well, you just need to eat more vegetables and exercise more. And if you don't get better, I'll give you a statin. It's a joke. That's what our healthcare system is built on. It's a one size fits all diet and exercise. Well, we got to know what's specifically right for you. For example, blind spots that are holding you back. When I work with clients, we look at genetics so we can stop guessing and find the blind spots that are critical for you. Let me give you an example of how this works. One of my patients, Tommy, he came to me because he couldn't lose weight. He had low energy and fatigue. He's a wealth advisor and felt like crap all day. And he was running on a treadmill for an hour a day. And he was eating what he thought was super clean, very low, nearly keto diet, very low carb diet. We ran his genetics. His genetics told us a couple things. Number one, we learned from his genetics that he does better with higher complex carbs. He can lose weight with higher complex carb diet. He was eating the wrong diet. His genetics showed us that he could lose weight, build muscle better with more sprint exercise, like interval training rather than endurance training. He was doing the wrong type of exercise. We found that from a micronutrient perspective, he didn't convert beta carotene, which is the dietary form of vitamin A, into the active form that you need for it to function properly. So we need to give him a special multivitamin that had the retinoic acid or correct form of vitamin A. These are all blind spots that once we helped Tommy see them, he was able to completely transform his health, lose weight, build muscle, get back in shape, felt amazing again. That's using an individualized approach that you don't get with your doctor. We got to think differently than what our primary medical doctors are doing for us. There was actually a recent study that showed that it takes roughly 17 years for most doctors to embrace new science. 17 years. That's how far behind most primary care doctors are to the current science. We got to learn to be proactive and embrace the advances that we're seeing in science and technology and health and wellness. It's understanding functional lab testing. How many of you had testing of your microbiome, the bacteria in your stool? No one. How many of you have had food sensitivity testing to know which foods are not right for you? No one. How many of you had biomarkers for inflammation tested? No one. These are key biomarkers that are very critical to know what's right for you. And our primary medical doctors are just not set up to do that. Our healthcare system isn't built for that. So this is what I mean by thinking differently. There's now science that shows that we can not only slow the aging process, but actually reverse it. I know that sounds absolutely madness, but it's true. We're learning every day a better understanding of how to turn on longevity genes that we know promote long-term health. And when you come to the High Performance Health Conference, I'm going to help you understand how to do that, how to live better, but also live longer. You see, it's putting all these pieces together into what we call a systems approach to health. Most guys, all they care about is testosterone, or they care about their weight, or they care about one specific aspect like their nutrition. It's putting all these pieces together, all of the 30 hormones we look at, your toxins, your sleep. When's the last time your doctor talked to you about sleep? Your stress. When's the last time your doctor talked to you about stress? Putting all these together, that's how you make a big difference. Next, you got to know your health data. The future of health and performance is all about biometric data. If you can measure it, you can manage it. How many of you here are using wearable technology to track your data? Some form of wearable tech. All right. We all need to be taking advantage of leveraging the incredible amount of information that we can gather from wearable tech. I'll give you an example. One of my patients, Eric, he came to the conference last year. He learned how to use continuous glucose monitoring. What this means is you could put a sensor on your arm and you could track your blood sugars. He tried this and he found that foods that he thought were good for him were crushing his blood sugar. For example, white rice. Blood sugar would spike. But if he ate chicken or fish and vegetables and then he ate the white rice, it didn't affect it at all. So sometimes it's not even what we're eating, it's when we're eating it. For me, I found that I could eat potatoes and my blood sugar was fine. I would eat oatmeal and it would go through the roof. And so it's understanding your physiology, how you're responding to your environment, that makes all the difference in the world. We can track with watches and rings and wearable straps and chest straps around your chest. You can track things like heart rate variability. Anyone ever heard of HRV before, heart rate variability? Anyone? HRV, or heart rate variability, is the variation in your heartbeat from one beat to the next. Your pulse may be 60, but it actually varies each beat by just a little bit. And that variation is actually critically important. It's a surrogate or a marker for your overall health. So you can track that on a daily basis and understand how your body is responding to your behaviors, your actions, your environment. For example, one of my patients, he was using a heart rate variability strap, and he found that every Friday his heart rate variability would plummet, which is a bad sign, a sign that his body's not fully optimized. We found that it was the wine he was drinking with his wife every Thursday night. They would go on date night, and the wine was what was dramatically affecting his health. Now, I'm not here to tell you not to drink wine, but for him, those 3 glasses of wine he was drinking every Thursday night, we can now see directly how that was affecting his health. And that's everything. It's blind spots, again, that are holding you back. And so the key is understanding how to use this technology to gather data to our advantage. We can track sleep as well, not just quantity of sleep, but more importantly, quality of sleep. And that's really what's important. It's all about tracking metrics. When we can keep score, we can understand what we're doing on a daily basis, whether it's working or not. That's where we can make a difference. If any of you are running a business, you probably have KPIs or key performance indicators for your business. How many of you here have key health indicators or KHIs? Right? That should be part of your everyday practice. Key biometric markers that you can track to understand if what you're doing is working or not. See, all this stuff is cutting edge, it's cool, it's sexy, but it's actually critically important if you guys care about living longer, living stronger, and living your best life. So I want to get into why is this so important for me? Why do I care so much about this? Why is this a passion for me? When I was young, my parents divorced. I was about 6 years old, and I grew up without a father figure. And I was forced to experience firsthand how important a present and engaged father is for his family and for his kids. And so my why, my personal why, is being the best husband and father I can for this amazing family you see right here. This for me is what it's all about. And this is the passion I bring to the men I work with as well. Now, my passion, as David knows, has always been men's health for the last 25 years. How can I help men be the best husbands, fathers, leaders that they're meant to be, and that I never had, obviously. But along the way, something happened. Women showed up and they wanted the same and needed the same attention. And ultimately, when we talk about high performance, it's not something that just applies to men anyway, right? And so the High Performance Health Conference, again, coming up here in June, is for men and women who want to optimize their health so they can live a life of high performance, because that's, in my mind, what it's really all about. And so I get asked all the time, you know, what does high performance mean for me? What are the results I get if you work with me, if you pursue the conference, come and join me at the High Performance Health Conference, what do you get? I want you to learn the strategies that you're going to need to create a life of high performance, the mindset you need to elevate your game. You're going to learn the tests that you need to be doing to track your health, the metrics you need to be following to achieve what I call high performance. You're going to learn how to interpret this data from wearable devices. What lab tests should you be doing and how to interpret them so you can individualize health for you. So the High Performance Health Conference, you're going to leave that weekend truly empowered to live your best life. And in my mind, that's what it's all about. So David, I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you here today. I do have a gift for everyone who's here. If you will, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. If you will text the word, and you'll see it here, I put it on my name. If you look at under my window, if you'll text the word health to 26786, you're going to get some information. Number one, I'm going to share with you my secrets to high performance health, the 10 tips you need to achieve a life of high performance. Next, you're going to get a complimentary copy, a digital copy of my book, Male 2.0, delivered to you as well. You'll get information about the health conference coming up. And if you want to get on a call with me and my team to understand how I can help you, how we can work together, you'll have a link to where you can book a complimentary discovery call as well. And so I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. Again, David, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with you guys today.
Thank you, Dr. Gapin. My goodness, so much to think about. And just as you were talking, I had to reflect on a recent episode of my own that kind of condensed a lot of what you're talking about into a 2-month period. And what I'm referring to is that I had a heart operation that I never expected to be as serious as it was. Well, it turned out to be quite involved and quite a bit longer than I thought. And as I came out of the operation and began to think about what the rest of my life was like, I always thought about high performance and how to achieve a lot of the things that I have in my mind to achieve. And yet for at least 3 to 4 weeks, I could not get beyond just thinking about high performance. And the reason was that my health, my body, my everything, my spirit was so depleted by this physical incursion into my heart that it was impossible. But now that I'm feeling 100% better, thankfully, I can now relate again to high performance and that being the real objective of what's going to happen in my life. But this all happened in a 2-month period, so.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, but it's so true that your performance is so dependent upon, you know, keeping yourself in good shape, good place.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. That's so common where we tend to neglect our health until something critical happens, whether it's a heart attack like that, where you're suddenly diagnosed with prostate cancer, whether you're suddenly diagnosed with diabetes, or something happens in your life where suddenly, or I've had a number of men tell me how their brother or family member died unexpectedly or had some health issue that finally makes us wake up and pay attention. And it's time to take a different approach. As I said, it's time to think differently and be proactive about our health. Because again, what's the cost of not investing in your health? When's the time to invest in your health? Now.
Yeah. Couldn't agree with you more.
Thank you.
Any other questions or thoughts from anybody? Yeah.
I'm also going to put in the chat here my email address. So if you guys want to, if you have a private question you want to reach out to me with, or any other comments, that's my personal email. You're welcome to reach out that way as well. I just put it in the chat.
Oh, is that the one, Gapin Institute?
That's right. Yeah. Doc Tracy Gapin Institute. That's
Okay,
right.
okay. I'll make sure this all gets reproduced for everybody too, so they can be sure to access. I think particularly the importance of the upcoming conference should be something everybody should take a serious look at.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, if no more questions, thank you.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity. And I want to also let you guys know for that conference, the pricing on it is $997 for the 2-day live event. If any of you are interested in coming, reach out to me and I'll get you a discount VIP pass for 50% off that ticket. So you can come for the weekend, $497. You could bring a spouse or significant other as well. Great event. We're going to have a breakfast and lunch each day. You're going to be able to play with some wearable tech. You're going to be able to play with some fun biohacking devices. You're going to learn a ton of content from some great speakers about high performance. And we're going to have a special experience with a race car driver Saturday night as well. So a lot of fun activities planned for that weekend, June 10th through 12th at the Hyatt here in Sarasota.
Great. Well, thank you again very much.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity, David.
All right, doctor. Talk to you soon.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Are you going to the conference?
What's that?
Are you going to the conference?
No, I don't know yet. I haven't looked at it very seriously.
Yeah,
I'm aware of it. but-
Yeah, I got an email from a little while back, and I started to look into it. It was a little pricey for me, but it looked like it had some great content.
Yeah, yeah. Well, even at that price, it's still, you know, a little bit costly, but.
I was hoping that would include a stay at the Hyatt.
Yeah, it does include dinners, I think,
Yeah.
or lunch or whatever, yeah.
Get it before they knock it down.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
Yeah, that's true, that's it, yeah,
Yeah.
they got that big
Yeah.
project in place.
Anybody else, any thoughts or, I thought Dr. Gapin's a very interesting person who's really taken a jump or a leap in his life to go off and do what he's doing. I'm sure he would have been quite comfortable just doing neurology for the rest of his life, and he would have been quite successful at it. You know.
Well, it's funny, I did see him a week before he retired. And he said,
Oh.
well, he said, you can't have a follow-up appointment because I'm retiring next week to start another project. And that was like the last time I saw him.
I never noticed in the mail, that's all.
Yeah, yeah, I was seeing him, in fact, I still have to see him theoretically about PSA, but I think I'm gonna see somebody else to start
I
over.
did go see Dr. Jerry.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I was very impressed.
I had the opposite reaction actually with Dr. Gary, you know, only because I had a bad experience at my office visit. But yeah, I got the opposite impression.
Yeah.
But I only because I sat in his office for.
Hi, David. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
My question is, you know, how would all of this relate to people that are already going through or in the middle of or have completed the prostate cancer treatments? You know, a lot of this medication and including the radiation, all that will just knock the daylight out of you, you know, and so, but,
It's a little off track.
right, yeah.
You know, sometimes, you know, looking at a holistic approach, I don't even know if holistic is the correct word, but a kind of a grand globalist approach can help us think things through a little bit. And that's really what I had in mind with him. But specifically, yeah, I don't know that we get much direct help from him directly at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be finding a new urologist because my PSA, which I'm scheduled to go back and see Dr. Gapin about, is not gonna happen because of the new circumstances. So, I'm looking around, as many of you all have, for.
Has your PSA gone up?
No, it has not, to my knowledge. But I still want to monitor it every year, every 6 months. You know, I was interested in Dr. Fitch's comments last meeting we had, where he commented about every 3 months for the first couple of years, and then 6 months for at least a couple of years after that, which I found refreshing because I hadn't heard that much aggressive approach from other doctors. And to me, I want to know what's going on.
I've read about 3 months, people have suggested that. What did you have done?
I had radiation therapy and hormone therapy and brachytherapy. Everything they could think of at the time.
It's really kitchen sink, I think.
If there was another treatment, they would have found it.
Well, there is one other treatment.
Radical, yeah. That, of course, after all they did, yeah, there's nothing left to take out.
Right.
Yeah, that was the first thing that Dr.
Yeah.
You had seen. It was the very first thing he wanted to schedule with me.
That's
And that was
what they all want.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. And then I finally got to, and I did finally get to an appointment with Dr. Ackery. I don't know if I told you that, it was a long time. I couldn't find his, and he was working with the same people. So I had just gone last week for a follow-up biopsy, which I haven't had a follow-up in 2 years.
Huh.
So I'm still just waiting on the results on that too. I just happened last week.
You saw Dr. Ackery?
I did finally see him.
And he's now changed though, too, right?
Yeah, he was with our urologist. Now he's got his own.
Yeah.
He's got a different practice called Elite Urology,
Right.
and he's got 3 locations, and the one I went to was in Lakewood Ranch. And then on Monday, he had access to that real-time biopsy, MRI biopsy tool that only comes around once a month. So I went on Monday and had that done, and so I'm just waiting on the results on that. So that was a week out on that. But and he was impressed that I was showing him my PSA results for the last 2 years. I do it every 2 or 3 months just to see if there's any baseline.
Have you had anything done?
I haven't had anything done yet. I'm still sort of in a wakeful watching posture right now.
What was your Gleason?
3-4.
That was straightforward. What was your PSA?
It ranged between 6 and 9.
That's where I am, 6.8, but my data has 5.8.
Yeah, it fluctuated a few times, and it also depended on what was going on with me just around the testing
So
time.
what's his name probably told you what he told me? Terry.
Yeah, he just wanted
You're
to
fine.
get his robot on. No,
Monitor it when you're ready?
no, he didn't say that to me. He said, let's schedule an appointment so me and my robot can take it out. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna pause on that. I wasn't that keen on jumping right into it, but he was all set to.
You're younger than that.
Yeah, that's it. He was all set to do the going into the night.
I don't know if you can overhear, but they're talking a little bit about Dr. Carey for one, and I guess Dr. Ackery.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I went to another one that when I suggested the active surveillance,
Mhm.
I said, what would be the plan? He said, the plan would be that you go find another doctor. Okay, so I did. All right, that's how rigorous he got.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And that was Dr. Carey who said to do that?
Dr.
Curtis?
Yeah.
He was my original urologist.
Okay.
And we had a similar discussion, except I was the one that said, I'll see another doctor.
So you should.
I did watch her waiting for 4.5 years, yeah.
That made me feel better then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how all I have to say to me, you know, it's like push me out the door.
Right.
Either get it done or get the hell out.
Yeah.
And that just
was
makes you more
trouble.
anxious, it makes you more doubtful,
Yeah.
and it creates more stress, and
Yeah.
it's not helpful in any way, so.
At first, everything was nice and everything or whatever, and then I had the biopsy, and you get 49 cents.
Really?
That seems.
Yeah, can you believe that?
He only did 8, didn't he?
49
Yeah,
cents.
they usually do, they just break it into quadrants, and they usually either do 2, they break it into 4s, they usually do the most 12 from what I
12 was kind of the common.
Yeah, that
Number
was.
12, that's what I read about all the time in all the forums that I read and everything, but he did 49.
Yeah, that seems
I
wild.
talked to Moffett, and they said, well, that's a saturation type thing. They didn't think it was, you know, our site, but I thought it was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus the gland itself, after 10 pokes, it starts to constrict and react, and you're not getting,
I'm getting more and more, you know, I'm older than you guys, so I had a lot more experiences. I just came back from last week, I had a colonoscopy, my last one, and I won't have to have that anymore.
Oh, really?
And I had a twilight, and I was sort of waking up, and I felt something, it was in my butt. So I reached my hand around, and he says, oh, we're not done yet, just so I
oh, you weren't,
Oh, you said.
your twilight sounded like noon.
You believe that?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they didn't even stop.
Wow.
And I woke up on the table.
Well, my biopsy, I completely never even, I wasn't around for it, I remember you saying, like, lay down, and I just remember waking up like, yeah, wow, there,
Well,
it's like,
I've
oh,
had
God.
them before too, and I wake up in recovery.
Yeah.
I wake up on the table.
Yeah, that's,
Of course, they used to do those without any anesthesia.
well, when I got my first one, I got with Dr., in Dr. Carey's office by the other doctor, with his name, there was no anesthesia, nothing, he did it right then and there, and just like.
For biopsy?
With the biopsies, yeah, they used to do those too. I guess
And that was completely uncomfortable hearing that pop, pop, you know, when he's like, taking it.
Well, I heard the pop too,
Yeah,
but he had given me a local anesthetic,
right, yeah.
just numb that area down there.
Right.
And it didn't hurt me, it just was kind of annoying.
No, it didn't hurt, but it's a little, you know what's happening, so it's sort of, it's a little disturbing.
Well, if you would have done it 49 times, you would have.
Yeah, 49.
Well, this is the third one I've had in this many years, so, and the first one was this, was in Dr. Carey's office with this other associate there, I can't remember his name.
Was it Barzell?
No, it wasn't Barzell, but then the second one I got was with Barzell, because he did the ultrasound, biopsy, and it was in real time, so he was able to do it, he had his machine, and they did that one, that was, through the perineum instead of going through the rectal entry. So that was a little bit different. And he said it was a little easier for him to get to it because of the angle it was at. So that was okay. And then when I mentioned those 2 prior things to Dr. Ackery on this last one, he said, well, I never heard of it being any different going through the perineum. It was so he went rectally. So he said, no, he says it's not. There's not that much of a difference. And I was kind of surprised that one doctor would say there was a big difference, the other one wouldn't. So that was a little.
Curtis said there was a big difference, and he did that for me. But then, did you like Ackery?
Yeah, I did. I've got a good rapport with him, and he's now my current urologist. So he was out of touch. He was out of touch for a while because
That's
he broke
what I'm
away from
leaning
Florida
toward.
urologist.
I'm leaning toward him as my urologist.
He broke away from Florida urology and started with this new outfit, which has 3 offices, one in Venice, one in Reagan, and one out in Lakewood Ranch. So that's the one I went to out there, right next door to the hospital.
And I know you had good experience with Dr. Ackery as well, right?
Was that?
You had good experience with Dr. Ackery.
Oh, yeah. Mhm. Yep,
He's also a neighbor of ours.
right.
So he's got a good guy.
Yeah, so now I'm just waiting to hear on some results and see. I know the last time I had gone, it was interesting because when I asked the Gleason score, they sent it to one lab, and then when I asked them to send the samples to another lab just to get a a second opinion, the results were a little bit different. Some of them were like 3.3 for the Gleason, and so that was good. And but it was still, of course, the cancer is there, so you're not going to avoid any of that. But so and then I started, I changed my whole lifestyle at that point. And even as Dr. Gapin was saying, when you change your lifestyle like that, you feel different and you feel better, and it does make a big difference in your overall health. I mean, I feel healthier now, even though I have cancer. I feel healthier now than I did, a year before. So it's kind of
So you're just waiting right now, watching your PSA?
right now. That's all I'm doing right now. Until I come up with, I was exploring different other options too, and I explored a HIFU option, and then a few other ones that I've been sort of studying up on. So I'm not prepared to pull the trigger just yet. So I'm still right now I'm anxiously waiting for my next appointment with Dr. Ackery, which hopefully will be like this week or something, and find out what the newest Gleason score is and things of that sort.
Moffett told me that he can guarantee me 5 more years.
Mm-hmm.
He says, and probably 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll be 90.
There we go.
So then I'll have to worry.
That always worries me. I never want to hear anybody tell me I've got 5 years or 6 or 2. I just soon guess.
But Curtis said to me, I want to be around and watch you die.
Yeah, well, I think he used that term for me too.
Did he?
I believe so.
I think that's a pressure point. I think that doctors do get that, and I got that sort of even from other doctors. They sort of really put you on the spot, even though if it's that aggressive, you have to deal with the reality of it. I mean, no doubt there, and sometimes you must act right away. But sometimes when they sort of throw that curveball in there, it makes you feel very uneasy.
Well, let me explain something to you. My whole life was focused around helping doctors manage their practices. Okay?
Wow.
And many of them, if you don't believe it or not, are very money focused.
Yeah, no doubt.
And they're out to hit the home run.
Yeah.
And the home run is a procedure.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an office visit. Okay? And the home run is when they do the prostatectomy. All right? So they do it, and that's why they do it. So you have to be aware of that.
Yeah, that's always my impression.
I've got to contact you about some thoughts when you just mentioned your history working with the medical profession. One of our key issues to the group is really trying to get the word out to these doctors so that they help us as opposed to not helping us. Because basically they don't really help us much. If I present these flyers, for example, that are in this little container there, they won't be there unless I'm there every week to make sure they're there. And I need them to support groups. But I think their fear is that we're going to expose people to other than what they're telling their patients.
Do you think that Curtis would like us to be sitting here and discussing his situation?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
It's a shame, but there are some of them that are in it for their belief that they're helping people.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That there are more that are not.
Yeah.
The big boats, the big houses, and that's primary. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, even when I had the conversation about the option of using HIFU, I talked to this Dr. Scianchi, who is the man here in the Sarasota area that does that. But he also had that sort of anxious way about it, and I could see that, and I could see if it was a case where my numbers were, in the 20s or something, you'd have to do something immediately. But he also sort of gave me that thing, well, do do you want to go with the new, or do you want to go with the traditional? I mean, and that was a question that I think we all have, especially with advances day by day. We're having all these new advances with treatment and with options and stuff like that. And the thing that always stuck in my mind was he was like, well, do you want to go with the same thing that this guy, you know, or a carrier or one of these guys has been doing for the last 40 years, same procedure, same you know, approach and all that, or do you want to try something that is based on newer discoveries, newer approaches, and that also made me say that there's a lot more exploring of options out there that we must pursue. And that's what really I love about our man-to-man group, is that we throw about these options, think about them, go out and maybe pursue them, share them, and these are the things that are, for me, important in being involved with this group, particularly because we're frank and each of us has got our own unique individual experience that others need to know about if they want to make their own choice in a, you know, in sort of a comfortable manner.
Yeah. My issue and concern is that I go into that office and he offers me a solution, okay? And it's the solution that is his solution, and there is a better solution, but he doesn't have it. He couldn't afford it, or he didn't buy that machine, okay? And that's prevalent.
Yeah, it is prevalent, yeah.
Well, even with when I was starting to explore HIFU in the beginning, it was like, oh yeah, you can spend $25,000 here in the States, or if you went to like Mexico or something, I'd do the same thing for $15,000. I'm like, what's wrong with this picture, you know? And so it's a little offsetting. Not that it was, you know, any difference in, I mean, $10,000 you could spend in going there, but just that all the tools we have at our disposal, you'd think that they sort of start to come together with a common denominator. So they don't have, so.
Yeah.
And we still have to do our own
It's a little fractured, the whole thing. That's why we need to study it. And share and do what we do.
All right, good. All right, I think it was helpful for me to talk to you guys anyway.
Good. Hopefully that's the nature of it.
But when I did talk to Carrie, well, I didn't have the issue with waiting in that. Okay. I told my internist is with that group, so maybe that helped me get in quicker. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, first positions.
Yeah, that's it, first position.
And he was right up front, okay, and quick. Done 4,000 of these. I like that. Okay. I don't know how many Curtis has done. Okay.
That was many.
And yeah, and can you even ask him? And can you believe him if he tells you? Okay. You know, hey, I'm 80 years old. I've been around a long time.
Right. You know some things.
Yeah. You don't believe everybody.
I know people.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks for lunch, Dave.
No, good. I'm glad you got to enjoy something. Yeah. Any lunch?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
I'm gonna bring them with me, actually.
That'll be my dinner.
Well, I got this one for you. This one's old.
All right. See you guys.
It's
All right,
great to
take
see
care.
you.
Thanks, David.
Hello.
You take care.
Thank
You
you.
know, like the gentleman was saying, I have a complete history day by day through my entire journey from the beginning 4 years ago, and I'm still carrying it on. So if you ever have somebody that has really would like to have some real actual step by step what happened after each of these events, because as you know, I had pretty much the whole ball of wax, you know, from hormone treatment to radiation to whatever else, seed implant.
Yeah.
And so, and then of course a relapse, which I'm dealing with at the moment. So, but if you ever have somebody that really was struggling, I'd be happy to meet with them for lunch or whatever. And like I said, I have it from day one for the last 4.5 years.
I think that's a great offer. Thank you.
Which doctor did you go with, Arno? Any of the ones that we spoke of?
No, well, I went to Sylvester, Dr. Sylvester in Sarasota, who did the radiation treatment. And then I had the urology was Dr. Hill, which is part of the urology group here in Bradenton, which he doesn't do it anymore. So I'm with Dr. Weintraub. And, but
Washington Hill?
no. So, but he's still there. He's just more in the administrative area versus physical, seeing patients. But Sylvester, he did his job, so I can't say that he didn't. So, and unfortunately, it was based on my scores. They were sky high, and unfortunately, it migrated. And I think I'm due for perhaps this new, what is it, PS,
PSMA.
yeah, I think I'm having a follow-up meeting on this coming Wednesday. But like I said, my PSA is down to under 0.014. And that's been like this now for 9 months. And so I think he may, according to him, but I need to have some more information. He said after 12 months, another 3 months, and he may take me off the hormone treatment and the pills I'm taking. So, but I got a lot of questions on that, but maybe he said there is some history there, perhaps that give your body a chance to recoup, and then let's see what happens, and we'll go back on if things go a little out of control, or if things start to rise, we'll put you back on. But that's where I'm at today. So
Next week, you're saying again?
when this coming Wednesday, I have my appointment with him Wednesday morning, and so hopefully, well, I already have the my lab report. So, but I have a ton of questions for what's the next step. I come prepared with 12. He doesn't get in here for 5 minutes with me. He has to take his time and answer all my. He already knows it, so he doesn't mind.
Oh, good
And,
luck.
but like I said, if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to meet with them for lunch or whatever, coffee, whatever.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Take care. Yeah. Stay healthy and wealthy.
Too bad.